Police have just shown up to NFL wide receiver Tyreek Hill's home after an altercation he had with his wife that ended in divorce. There has been a market building for this wide receiver. He has been hinting at a trade away from the Dolphins the entire offseason. And honestly, this is sad for the Dolphins. They already have issues with their quarterback Tua, who cannot stay healthy and has decided to party this entire offseason. We're going to break down this latest story. If you want more NFL content from me, Wi-Fi Willie, make sure you subscribe. Last season when the Dolphins were struggling, you saw Tyreek Hill pissed off on the sidelines yelling at his head coach Mike McDaniel, and then this entire offseason the guy has just been teasing a trade. He posted this on TikTok. The caption read, "Seeing your team may actually trade you," and then he had this happen.
Hold that thought, I'm gonna call you back.
Okay. Now in that video, Tyreek looks surprised at the idea that the Dolphins may be trading him, but during a press conference towards the end of the season, this dude literally said he was done with the team.
I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. You know, so it was great playing here, but.
And this was a huge deal. The dude literally said, "It's been good playing here, but I'm out, bro." But of course, later, Tyreek Hill walked back these "I'm out" comments, saying that he was just frustrated and he's committed to Miami and committed to making a big bag of money. But just this past March, Tyreek Hill just kept hinting at trades on Twitter, on X. He put a peace emoji twice in March. This one here was a retweet from a writer who said that he predicts Tyreek Hill will be traded on draft day. And so Tyreek obviously fueled more speculation by retweeting this and putting a peace emoji. And then you had people ask, "Fins Nation, would you be open to trading Tyreek Hill?" And Tyreek obviously had to stoke the flames there. The Miami Dolphins have been regarded as an explosive team, but Tua Tagovailoa, their starting quarterback, who they are financially committed to, has dealt with concussions. And you saw it happen last year again, where Tua had a concussion that took him out for several weeks. And many people were even wondering if this guy is going to retire because he keeps on having concussions and doing the fencing pose, which means that you're dealing with some pretty bad neurological symptoms. The Dolphins had a poor season last year. Luckily, Tua was able to return and play at the end of the year, but a lot of people aren't confident in this guy being the long-term solution at quarterback. He can easily have a concussion again next year for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins, quite frankly, are stuck with him. They cannot get out of his contract anytime soon. And Tua seems to be just enjoying the last few years of his NFL career because he doesn't know what's going to happen, what lurks around the corner, and he's been partying it up this entire offseason. He was at the Palm Tree Club, and you see Tua looking really happy there, having a blast. Quite frankly, the Miami Dolphins are no longer a good destination if you're an NFL player. They don't look like they're going to contend this year at all. You even had the tight end, Pharaoh Brown. When he was signed by the Dolphins, they asked him what attracted him to Miami, and his answer was pretty bad.
You know, what attracted you to Miami, and what were some of your first impressions of Coach McDaniel?
What they say, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Okay, so that's really awkward. He said beggars can't be choosers and then hysterically laughed, basically saying, hey, I had nowhere else to go besides Miami, so I was stuck here, and it's kind of probably one of the last places he wants to go right now. And outside of Tua, the Dolphins' backup quarterbacks are not that inspiring. They're going to be relying on Zach Attack Wilson, the MILF Hunter.
Dolphins fans, and Zach Wilson here at the facility, just signing the contract. Super excited to be here. Can't wait to get to work. Go Fins.
So obviously Tyreek Hill does not seem optimistic about this upcoming season, and now he's got to not feel optimistic about his off the field life because the dude has got himself into more drama, and he just keeps having drama and case after case in just this past year. Remember, Tyreek Hill was sued for damages by an OF model, a plus size OF model who he had met and had over at his house to practice football drills. Yes, that is what the report said, and that is what both of these people said happened. You know, she came over to practice some football drills with Tyreek Hill in 2023. She claimed Hill fractured her right leg with crushing force during this backyard football lesson in 2023, and she was seeking $50,000 in damages. You got her in crutches over here saying Tyreek Hill did this. But what was even crazier is fast forward 2 years later on X, she admitted that after they had this backyard football incident that she smashed him. Yeah, she smashed Tyreek Hill around this time. I guess she wasn't too upset about the injury to participate in that kind of act. The reason why I'm even bringing up the plus size OF model is because of the timeline. This really sets the stage for what we're about to talk about next, which is the divorce and the allegations, because Tyreek Hill and his backyard football sesh with a plus size OF model happened around 2023, but Tyreek Hill also married his current wife, Kita Vaccaro, who we're going to talk about a little bit later, in November of 2023, and they supposedly had been dating for a couple years. Well, based on what the plus size OF model said earlier, I think the wife probably had reason to have jealousy issues early on in the relationship. I'll just say that. And this marriage was always hilarious when you already know Tyreek Hill. This is a guy who has several baby mamas. I mean, there's whole collages of different baby mamas, and he has kids with these different baby mamas. Apparently, he had 3 children with 3 different women in 1 year, and he has up to 10 children from what we know of so far. But Tyreek and his new wife tried to put the idea out there that she was the one, and they would have little cute TikToks together where they're working out together, couples working out. And it was sort of thinking, hey, Tyreek Hill, a guy who's been loose and been around the block throughout his life as an NFL superstar wide receiver, maybe he's settling down and he's finally finding this happy, healthy relationship. You actually saw the couple heavily featured on Hard Knocks. You had both of them together when the Dolphins were on Hard Knocks, and a lot of people just thought, wow, what a beautiful couple, what a beautiful family. Maybe Tyreek Hill is going to have no more drama anymore in 2024 or 2025. But we should have seen the cracks in the relationship, not only with the plus size OF model, but also this, which was during Hard Knocks, we saw a man spill nachos on Tyreek Hill's wife, and Tyreek Hill blamed the wife.
It was definitely her fault. She got back to the car, her and my mom, it was like, yeah, like it was his fault the whole time. I watched the thing. I'm like, you hit it out of his hand though. Like now you had me hot at this dude, and now I see the video. It's like, you feel me? So
at the time, this did not seem like a big deal, but in retrospect, hey, they were already not on the same page about the nachos. And what was bizarre, and this is crazy to think about in retrospect, is the fact that Tyreek Hill filed for divorce with this wife. We all forget this happened in January of 2024. Tyreek Hill filed a petition for divorce for his new wife that he had in late 2023. But what was crazy is Tyreek Hill claimed this was an accident and a mistake. Now that we know what we know that we found out today, it doesn't seem like there's an accident. There's perhaps cracks all along in this relationship. Tyreek Hill is saying that they did not file for a divorce. They are happily married, and they're going to stay that way. And this was in January 2024, 10 million views. This crap went absolutely viral. Tyreek Hill said he's going to fire the bonehead attorney or clerk that he hired who accidentally filed for divorce. We'll find out maybe one day if it was an accident, because what happens later is going to really confuse us here. Aside from the relationship drama, Tyreek Hill found himself in the news at the beginning of the season when he had a run-in with police due to speeding. There was some intense body cam footage that was released here that in some people's view makes the officers look bad, and in other people's view makes Tyreek Hill looks bad. You guys be the judge.
Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car.
give me that.
Get out of the car.
Give me that. I'm gonna break that freaking window.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. What part of law don't you understand? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, Drew.
So a lot of people criticize the fact that these officers were kind of rough with Tyreek Hill, but they did keep telling him to put the window down, and he wouldn't listen and refused to do it. So it's hard to argue that somebody's totally in the right one way or totally in the wrong the other way. Now, the breaking news that happened on April 9th, 2025, couple weeks before the NFL draft, Tyreek Hill had police at his house. Police responded to an assault in progress involving Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. This went absolutely viral as soon as it happened because many people thought the couple was cool, the couple was happy together. According to Local 10 News, they say Tyreek Hill was involved in a domestic dispute with his wife at a high-rise condominium in Sunny Isles Beach. Tyreek Hill's wife, Kita, her mom, Alicia, was also there along with Tyreek Hill, and the mom of the wife told officers that she's been living with the couple, helping take care of their new baby, but she described Hill as a very aggressive and impulsive guy, and she feared for her daughter's safety, meaning Tyreek Hill's wife's safety. Tyreek Hill's wife's mom said she saw Tyreek throw a laptop on on the floor. And apparently during an argument with the wife, Tyreek Hill grabbed his 5-month-old daughter and was walking around with her and even walking around on the balcony. And apparently he was saying, hey, I have as many rights as you with the kid, so I can grab my kid and walk away with him if I want. But the mom, or let's just call her grandma in this case, says that Tyreek becomes angry and throws objects around whenever he gets frustrated with his wife Keita. And apparently the two have been attending couples therapy, but it was not working out. Looks like the allegations that they were potentially getting a divorce weren't false, and maybe Tyreek originally filed for a legitimate reason and then tried to backtrack it later in January 2024. Either way, both Tyreek Hill, his wife, and the mom all say that the argument never turned physical. So you gotta have that out there. He never got physical with her, just yelling, throwing things, and there are actually no charges filed. This case has been closed, but there's been a significant outcome that has happened after this case, which is the fact that Tyreek Hill's wife has filed for divorce immediately after this happened, after the case closed, after they said, hey, nobody got physical with anybody, he was just getting heated and there's a little domestic disturbance there. She immediately filed for divorce. So yes, less than 24 hours after the incident, Keita submitted the documents in Miami-Dade County to split from the Dolphins wide receiver. And apparently they're not going to say exactly why. They're going to keep this private, which we got to respect their privacy. I wouldn't want to put my laundry all out there, man. But what was so bizarre, and this is what a lot of people are thinking about this, is the couple just seemed happy. They made TikToks together. I showed you that working out one a little bit, and they had this one about cooking together. And it kind of makes you think, whenever there's a couple out there putting a lot of positive images, positive Instagram reels, positive social media pictures, is it all smoke? Is it all smoke? Do real couples who are truly happy with each other, do they have to post a picture about it, post a video about it, make a TikTok about it to let the entire world know? In my experience, this is just my experience in my life, usually no. Usually happy couples are literally so busy with their lives that they're not posting on social media, making sure everybody knows that they're super, super happy. My big takeaway is, what is the trade market now for Tyreek Hill? Are some teams going to want to deal with this guy when he just keeps getting in the news? Fortunately, he did not get arrested today, but you never know what's going to happen down the road. And is it really worth it for a guy who's on the end of his career? He's 32 years old, just getting older, and he's known for his speed. I don't know if many people are going to give up a lot of draft capital for Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. I think they would have before today, but today makes Tyreek Hill a lot cheaper for potentially your favorite NFL team if your fan base even wants to deal with the guy.